Sod numbers are down and it's not looking good. Today, we're going to discuss why this is happening and some potential ideas of what Blizzard can do to help the situation. Before we get started, remember to hit subscribe. I recently had a discussion with my chat about what they didn't like about Phase 3 and why. That being said, let's get into some of the problems with Phase 3. Starting with number 1, Nightmare Incursions. Nightmare Incursions are the fastest way to level, the most profitable, and they provide you with the best gear. 6 of 6 Previous armor set that you can pretty much go straight into ST with and just clear all the content. Now, it's not the only way to level, but if you make one way of leveling the best way by a landslide in comparison to the other options, it forces players to feel like it's the only way to play. I mean, why would you level a character any other way when you can get the fastest XP, a lot of gold, and gear for doing it? The problem with this is it goes against everything Classic WoW is about. Exploring the world, taking your time, and feeling immersed in the gaming experience. Now Classic WoW is just running laps in a Nightmare Incursion with a quest sharing add-on. Runes. Some runes are incredibly hard and tedious to get. At this point, most classes have about 25 runes, and speaking for the mage players, getting 25 books from different locations around the world is not exactly how I like to spend my time in the game. This could take upwards of 5 to 6 hours for a player to farm one rune, especially if they aren't buying summons from a Warlock summon bot posted up around the world. Also, you can make runes like Dark Riders account-wide. It would be pretty poggers not to have to do that on every character. If you have this annoying type of content that people don't enjoy the first time, they're going to be way less fired up to do it on an alt. And I think that's what's happened in Season of Discovery. Some people don't even want to level alts just because of how long it takes to get all the runes. Class design. This is probably the most important part of an MMO experience. Is your class fun to play? Speaking for the mages, in P3, we're pretty much a Frostfire Bolt machine in the raids. It's not very exciting. I mean, I guess you don't have to play Frostfire Bolt spec, but most players are going to play the class the optimal way. In my opinion, a more complicated rotation when performed optimally should always out DPS a single button rotation. Some classes like Marksman Hunter got some amazing reworks, and their rotation is extremely fun. So I do want to compliment Blizzard on certain classes being exciting and incredibly fun to play. But that hasn't been the case for every class. And currently, the melee DPS are outperforming the ranged classes by a lot in terms of DPS. An attempt to balance that hasn't even been made yet, and certainly worries me for Phase 4 when the melee get even stronger than the casters with scaling. Time gating content. World of Warcraft is known for time gating, but in this case, 4 phases might have been a bit too much. Most WoW players play for the in-game content, and we've been playing for 6 months now, and we're still not in the in-game. My personal opinion is that this was stretched out too much. Players are ready to play at max level with their full potential and do the traditional classic raids that they love. Some people are just waiting for Phase 4 so they can finally play the game. Classic used to be about the leveling experience, but with the 150% XP boost, leveling is not really part of the game anymore. It's a rush to endgame, and there really isn't an endgame to even get to yet. 20-man raids. This is something that I wasn't expecting, but people don't like 20-man raiding. Phase 1 and 2, we had 10-man raids, and guilds started setting up for that. Now, it's 20-man, and guilds are trying to recruit to fill their slots, but they can't. There's too many guilds and not enough players. Smaller raids are actually preferred over larger raids. I personally love the energy in 40-man classic raids, but I understand the pain that guild leaders have to go through to recruit 40 players. That being said, 20-man MC and BWL might be okay, but maybe they should take it down to 10-man with Oni, ZGs, and some of the other raids like AQ20. That might be the way I see Sod going in the future, because people really tend to like these smaller raids. Loot. In the first 2 phases, devs gave us some of the best loot we've ever seen in Classic WoW. Phase 1 had level 25 gear that was extremely powerful, with items like the Keller Staff being on par with the Staff of Jordan. More of the same in Nomer, Crowd Pummeler, insane 3-set bonuses, and trinkets. But in P3, Blizzard decided to scale back gear power, and it left mini classes only needed minor upgrades from the raid. Loot is the main reason people raid, and if they don't have upgrades to go for, they quit raiding. You get a solid set of gear from the Nightmare Incursions, and that gear is perfectly fine to take you all the way to 60. The upgrades are so minor from that and ST, why even waste your time? Griefing on PvP servers. This is something not everyone can relate to, but Blizzard obviously knows it's a problem because they opened up free transfers for people to leave the PvP servers. Camping the DMF buffs, camping the Nightmare Incursions, and camping outside of instances seems to be the new meta for being the most annoying way to play WoW. On a PvP server, you spend a lot of time running back to your body, and that's just not my ideal way of spending time in the game. I recently transferred 2 of my characters to a PvE server and my quality of life has just gone way up. Cataclysm. Cataclysm pre-patch came out recently, and after playing some of the classes, I can honestly say that the class design in Cataclysm is so much better than I thought it would be. Fire Mage is insanely strong and fun to play, with instant Flame Strike cast and Fire Blast mechanics spreading your dots. I made a Blood DK, they do insane damage, their threat is amazing, and they're self-healing, and it made me realize that class design alone can be a reason to play one version of WoW over another. The game is extremely fun to play, and the raids are challenging. For me, I've decided to play Cata until Phase 4 comes out, because the game is just more fun, and I've been craving that in-game experience that Sod just doesn't have. So what does Blizzard need to do to make you excited about playing Phase 4? I asked my chat this question, and we came up with a list of suggestions. No more XP from Incursions after level 50. Or, you can make Incursions a 5-man raid with a 1-day lockout. Disable PvP outside of instances and in the DMF area to reduce griefing. Make runes and rep account-wide so that people don't have to farm them again on their alts. Molten Core should be moderately difficult to encourage players to go after previous gear like SGC, Hodge, Ironflow, and their 0.5 quest chains. They shouldn't be able to just go in and clear it in greens. The pre-bis grind is one of the most exciting things about World of Warcraft, and I feel like that's been taken out of the game from Phase 1 through 3. New fishing and cooking content, new towns and quest hubs, class balancing and class reworks for the one-button rotation classes, more acquiring runes from just playing the game. For example, runes that come from raid, dungeons, and PvP. Maybe a vendor to unlock runes from the previous phase, a quality of life improvement for mage tables, pally buffs, etc., and the ability to create rune sets where you swap all of your runes instantly when you swap specs. These last suggestions are a bit questionable, but they resonate well with me. Harder content in general that doesn't necessarily give loot, like Mythic Plus, a Duelers League, rated BGs, and challenge modes that give titles and cosmetics to go after. That being said, what do you think Blizzard should add to the game in Phase 4? Let me know in the comments below, and remember to hit subscribe. I'm Sardako, and I'll see you next time.